Hello, my Facebook friends and acquaintances. This is Karl, and I'm kind of doing this thing on the fly. I'm using my Samsung tablet. It's not as fancy as these iPhones and other really nice devices I've been seeing, but it gets the job done. And all I'm doing is just doing a little walkthrough of I call it my man cave or my ham shack. And just through, just kind of wing it here. Actually, what you're seeing here isn't even finished yet, but mostly. And the heart of it, of course, is right there where that chair is. That's where I sit and write and also get on amateur radio. Of course, looking over my shoulder is Lori. God bless her. She's been in heaven now almost 3 years. And looking down here, oh yeah, yes, I made some walnut and poppy and walnut crescents. Yum. And for me too. So that, and along with some coffee, I'll keep myself entertained, I guess. Yes, I've got toys, man toys. We all have our toys, don't we? Men and women. For example, these are some of my toys, right? And these. And so on. I saw a guy, he's a CB user. His name is, what was his handle? I think it's Mower Junkie. But he talks to people on his CB radio, and he's got a lot of high power behind it, so he can talk to people all parts of the country. But I was astonished when he had about a 15 to 20 minute video at how much stuff he had. I mean, he must have had between 30 and 50 CB radios, and 30 to 50 of them. I thought, oh my gosh. I definitely have my collection of some of my favorite things, I guess. Sure. This is where my Winchester Golden Spike 30-30 rifle will be again. It's just being serviced, cleaned up. So I don't have it hanging right now. My dad left that to me. And then I have other collectibles here. Weapons, and my contract for my book with my literary agent and agency. And there's my book. And there's me. And can you believe, with this mug, this lovely person actually saw something in me? Unbelievable. So anyway, I just wanted to show you a few things that I've been working on. Also, and this is my kind of ham headquarters, my ham radio headquarters, where I've got the main part of my amateur radio and CB hobby. And by the way, right here is another one of my great friends. Oh boy, I can get it focused here. Right there is, oh shoot. Well, there we go. That's me and my friend Joanne, who lives in New Jersey. That was when I did her daughter Sarah's wedding back in 2000, just before me and John, my assistant, headed back to Columbus. She's a great friend and a great Christian woman, I'll tell you. But anyway, this right here in front of me here are the main components of my hobby, one of them, which is a ham radio and CB radio. And of course, this is a Yaesu, a Japanese-made ham or amateur radio. And this is made by Ranger Communications, and it's also an amateur radio. See, it says it right there. But it also can broadcast and receive on CB, Citizens Band, and additional channels, and it does a real good job. This is also where I log in my contacts on CB. I have two screens. There's the keyboard. But this is also where I write, and where I'm writing Millennium, my novel, my next novel. And these are some of my tools of the trade for CB. Some microphones. Oh, whatever would I do without these? Yum! Ooh, I think I'll just take me a little piece here. Little poppy on it, right? Yum. And then, of course, the view when I'm seated here writing or doing radio, that's just kind of what I see down here in my basement. You see there? Now, some of you, the few 3.5 people that follow me on Facebook, I think it is, may recognize some of this. And for those 3.5 people that follow me, that's probably all it'll ever be. And for the rest of you who've seen my posts, my passion for my Christian faith, for politics and getting it right, you get a sense of my voice too. This is how I sound, the usual monotone Karl Jeney. There's my Titanic model ship, which I built. Took me over a year, and I added things like drilled the portholes out and put in lighting to make it look nicer. I think it looks pretty nice. Some more gun collections. Another rifle, a Henry rifle. That's my grandpa, and that's my dad. And I know I did not bag that tiger. It is artificial. It's not the real deal. Oh, and other things like the most notorious gun probably on the planet, the venerable, or the deadly, I guess, AK-47. That's a Soviet one. It's got the emblem on it, Russia. Hammer and sickle, right? And I also like to refurbish reel-to-reels. There's one of them, which I think turned out pretty good. I designed these reels, and a friend of mine, John Farrar, I think he's in Pennsylvania, then will make them for me. He does a good job. I had him make some aluminum reels and burnish them so they look real shiny with almost a mirror-like finish. This is probably the nicest reel that I've ever acquired, and it's not for sale. In fact, these three aren't. None of them are, because they're for display. And then, of course, this is where, if I have people over, which isn't often, I'll entertain them there, you know. I've got plenty of seating. Oh, yes, of course, Cuddy. Cuddy's always got to be in on the action, don't you, Cuddy? Cuddy, you're making me feel guilty. Therefore, in order to appease my guilt, I'm going to let you in. Yes. There. Are you happy? See, you went right for my desk. Oh, there he is. Anyway, this guy that I was watching, showing us his collection of his passion of amateur, well, I mean, of CB radio. My gosh, he could have been a storefront. I mean, he had 30 to 50 different radios. Some of them he didn't even remember how he got them, if they even worked or not. And I'm thinking, well, why do you have them then? You know, even if you don't use them a lot, you should have some sense of why you got them. Hard to figure out. I've got plenty of stuff here, obviously, but there's always a mindset behind anything I acquire. You know? Cuddy, what are you doing? Cuddy. You want to get up here? You want to get up there? All right, let me get you up. There you go. There you go. Goody. And, like this Silver Eagle a D104 mic. It's made in Ohio, actually. And it was just included in the deal I got. It's a beautiful mic. Chrome plated and all metal. And it came with this Ranger radio just thrown in as part of the deal. And normally that thing goes for about $300 by itself in that condition. And then this one's a Kenwood, which is a very nice mic too. And I got that years ago when my other ham radio was still working. This one. But it's got a bad processor, central processing unit, so I can't use it. And they don't make the processor anymore, so I have to wait until something shows up that's being parted out, and I can buy it and then hopefully use the processor and get it working again, because everything else is fine except that. And that's just a receiver. It receives shortwave and all kinds of frequencies, and I've had that since the 80s, and it's a great radio. And then my old CB, that I had in my car years ago, and so on. My 8-track reel-to-reel when I used to run my recording studio years ago. So anyway, and it sounds like there's some people on the frequency. You just either tune it by hand or scan it. See there? And you can find people and then talk to them. They can be across town. Most of the time it's across the country. And sometimes across the world. And both radios will do it. This one, which I got recently. And this one, which I got a while back to replace this one, which is also a fine radio, but I just can't use it right now. So anyway, I'm pretty sure I know how and why I've got all these items. Unlike that other gentleman, I just baffled me. It's like, well, why did you get him? I mean, he didn't even remember some of the stuff, what it was, and he's a young guy too. Sound like he's in his 20s or 30s, So anyway, Cuddy's always chilling, aren't you, Cuddy? Yes. Look at that face. Yes, he is. And of course, my passion of music, but I haven't been doing much of that. It's there. I may do it someday again. I don't know. My life went into a different direction. And I like this because it's personal. It's, you talk to people. You learn things. You get a perspective from other parts of the world. More unvarnished, more honest. It's really, really great. I do like it. Ham radio or amateur radio. CB also. I was surprised that CB, Citizens Band Radio, is actually more active than I thought it was. And they've got some very high quality units out now, although this one isn't made anymore, this Ranger. But I was able to acquire it, and it's a heck of a performer. Plus, it also does do higher frequencies on amateur radio, which kind of fills in the gap for what this doesn't do as much. It does about everything else, though, I can tell you that. So anyway, it is about 8:20 in the evening so I make this video. Sunday, May the 9th, I believe. Hope I got that right. And I just wanted to just share a little bit of that, of what I've been up to lately. There's the first car I ever bought new. It's hard to see because of the light. It's a 1975 Oldsmobile 442. I had those triple window padded roof. I designed that myself, and I had a company called the Trim Shop install it. Beautiful car. 3 weeks after they installed it, and I got it back. That facility burnt to the ground, and they lost some cars inside too that they were working on. But I dodged a bullet there. Couldn't believe it. But that was the car I had back. I bought it in 1974 October when I picked it up, and I paid $5,355 for it new. Had 3 miles on it when I picked it up. And speaking of cars, these are all collections I've gotten from the Franklin Mint and the Danbury Mint and so on. Gosh, I think that's my hand. Oh, okay. And of course the venerable Hagstrom bass. It's probably the most valuable thing I have in this room. It's a 1967 model. I've talked about it a lot. It's in very good shape, and it's probably worth about $5,000 now. I mean, it's got more sentimental value than anything. I paid $150 for it back in 78, 77 or 78. So anyway, without boring you guys too much, there's an example of one of my photography brochures from back in the day. Jeney's Photography, special pictures for special people. We specialize in weddings. That's all samples of my work. Clients, I designed that brochure. And that's my mom and my stepdad, Mom and Albert. And this is a letter I actually got from President Obama 4 days before he left office. He sent it to me. He responded. He signed it. And he sent it to me in response to a letter. I had some questions, and I was thanking him. I felt he had done a pretty good job in pulling us out of that horrible recession you may remember back in the first decade of the 21st century. And of course my book, Meus Insomnium. That's right, you don't choose your nightmare, it chooses you. Isn't that true sometimes? So anyway, I know this is kind of just thrown together, but I wanted to give this a test run and just see how it looks and sounds. And then if I'm reasonably satisfied with it, I will post it on YouTube. And if you're watching it, that means that's exactly what I did. And I've got some people here that are coming. One of them may be Gary and Linda Sclafani. He had expressed an interest in stopping by and also to drop a recorder, a reel-to-reel recorder for me to see if I can fix. That sounds like I should be able to. And it'd be just nice to meet him and his wife, Linda. Talented. What a talented fellow he is. Well, they both are. And then this is where I used to practice music and so on. And of course, my favorite rock group of all time, the Beatles. They are my all-time favorite. I just love their stuff. Still do. So that, my Facebook and YouTube friends, and by the way, that's my license plate. That used to belong to my dad, who was an agent for the Prudential. Own a piece of the rock, the Prudential, right? Remember that? And when he retired, he let me take it over. I did, but for me, this means something entirely different. And you can look up references to what it means in Scripture, and you'll know exactly what it means to me. So I still have that. That's an older plate. I've still got it on my car. So, thank you for tuning into this probably boring video with my monotone voice. And if you saw little glimpses of me reflected in a mirror somewhere and you're still watching, that means that you were able to deal with the trauma of what you saw. Hey, I have to deal with it every morning. So, thanks for listening and watching. And I'm sure I'll catch you guys on Facebook. And God bless all of you. And that'll do it. My little brief experimental tour of my man cave. And the whole video is 20 minutes. God bless. and take care. Bye-bye.